Hey guys, welcome back to Piston Automotive News, Reviews and Tips. Today we are in Desaru with this gorgeous car right here in a really nice color if you ask me, and that's the new Mercedes-Benz C300. So I've driven it extensively, did some illegal speeds with it, fantastic, and I love the color that it's in. So in this video I want to tell you exactly everything there is to know about the new Mercedes-Benz C300 and why it's such an awesome car. So let's go. So the new C300 is an awesome looking car. Such a gorgeous design actually. But it's not an entirely new design either, because Mercedes-Benz has somehow standardized its design across all of its models. The A-Class sedan somewhat looks like this. The E-Class definitely looks like this, and now even the S-Class has this design language carried on there as well. And nowhere is that more obvious than the headlights. This reverse Nike swoosh, So these are LED high performance headlights, by the way. So nowhere is that more obvious, but that's not a bad thing. Especially not in the C-Class, because it somehow manages to pull off this design quite well. Such an awesome looking car, beautiful design. But there's just too much plastic bits going on at the front here, which sort of cheapens its design a bit. I reckon some grills over here would be nicer, but perhaps there's some aerodynamic reason for that. But this though, the Mercedes-Benz 3-pointed star on the grille, that looks fantastic, no doubt. And for you Mercedes AMG fans, you will love this twin tower bulges, power bulges here. Beautiful, it's such a beautiful design. And this blue just really brings out the lines of the car. Really such a striking color. It's unlike any other color from any other car maker. Unfortunately, this is only for CBU models. Once Mercedes-Benz CKDs, the C-Class, I've heard that this color will no longer be available. The C300 is powered by a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine that is mated to a 9-speed gearbox. It's a beautiful engine, but at the same time, this is what you would call a mild hybrid, because somewhere in between the engine and the transmission, there is an electric motor that produces about 20 horsepower and 200 Newton meters of torque, for a total output of over 250 horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque. This car reaches does the 0 to 100 in about 6 seconds flat, and it sounds amazing as well when it's doing it. It's quite thirsty though, but I have to say that when we were driving it from KL to Johor, we weren't exactly driving slowly, so perhaps that's why it was thirsty. Simple logic, right? The faster you go, the more petrol you need. The back seats, well, before we get to that, I should tell you that the Mercedes-Benz C-Class is now bigger in every way. There's more knee room, there's more shoulder room, there's more elbow room. It's generally a much bigger car. Keep in mind that the front seat is adjusted to my height. I'm about 6 feet tall. And check out the amount of space that I have. I'm still very comfortable back here, but my view is utterly dominated by this huge headrest at the front. You also get this blind, manual blinds here, which are of course always handy, and you get this single control. You also get individual air conditioning vents. Sadly, there are no USB slots for the rear passenger. That is a bummer. Otherwise, quite a comfortable, nice, comfortable place to be in. Let's go check out the boot space. It's actually a lot bigger. Powered tailgate, of course. Get much bigger boot space as compared to before, and press this button for even more boot space. So this is handy. It's very much a family car. So that's that for the Mercedes-Benz C300. It's an amazing looking car, really goes really well as well. It's a bummer that the rear passengers don't get USB slots, because this is very much a family car, especially considering that it's much bigger than before. Imagine smaller, younger families would make themselves very comfortable here. Unfortunately, yeah, that's quite a bummer, but not a deal breaker. Because now driving the Mercedes-Benz, the new Mercedes-Benz C300, well, it's typically Mercedes. Everything is refined, everything is quiet, everything is plush, the seats are mega comfortable. But the new steering wheel though feels very nice in your hands, because it's thicker than ever before. It just feels amazing, feels very high quality. But the ride comfort is perfect actually. These are just regular standard suspension, they're not adaptive suspension. So no bummer there, it's no big deal, which also means that it's probably cheaper to maintain. But this car is actually has matured to become a much nicer machine than ever before. Seriously, this is the best C-Class ever, hands down. Why? Because of course it is. It's bigger, which means more people will find themselves comfortable in it. Previous generation C-Class models have always been somewhat on the smaller side, you know, especially when it comes to knee room, shoulder space and such, but not anymore, and it's quite comfortable. But remember how I said that this car is now a mild hybrid? Because there's a 15 kilowatt 20 Newton meter electric motor that is placed at the front. So no big deal, but except that it lets you do this. So in a combined power output with the 2-liter turbocharged engine, you get 258 horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque, which is plenty for this car and gives it very nice aggressive character. And combined with the suspension, makes it quite fun to drive actually. However, there are a couple of things. Like there's this buzzing sound that is coming from the left over there. I was in a different C300 yesterday and that was annoying the hell out of me all throughout, and I'm finding that same buzzing sound coming out of here as well, in this car as well. So perhaps it's just a seatbelt mounting or something, but that's something to look into. And the other thing is, at about 140 kilometers per hour, 150, which you really shouldn't be driving at that speed anyway, the wind noise can be quite overwhelming. So there's this whoosh that you get, which protrudes back into the cabin and just gives it a very uncomfortable feel. But generally, nice place to be, no doubt. And the suspension too, well, because it's tuned for comfort. I'm going over this pebbled road right now and nothing comes back. I can't feel it in the cabin, which is great actually. But at high speed, and when you're taking a corner at high speed, it tends to wallow just a little. But other than that, driving this car is fantastic. I'm super comfortable in here. And so generally the C-Class has matured to be more spacious, more comfortable, a nicer car to drive, a nicer car to be a passenger in because of the spaciousness. Anyway, this is my review of the Mercedes-Benz C300. I've only spent about a day and a half with it, probably about a day. I look forward, I will bring you a more extensive review once we get our hands on it for a couple of days. But for now, this is the first impression of the Mercedes-Benz C300, and Mercedes has done a fantastic job with it. There's absolutely no doubt that they've done a fantastic job with it. So, as usual, thank you for watching. Do consider subscribing. I'm Kashi Dylan, and this is Piston Dog.